All right, I'm back. I know where I'm going now. That's a newsflash. Alrighty, so, and one of my colleagues asked me, and I said that I talk about controversial topics all the time, and my job has never been threatened, and it was implied that my job was never threatened because I had tenure. But there was never ever a hint of me ruffling anyone's feathers because, and I do believe this is why, because I'm not trying to convince somebody to believe the way I believe. I simply want to have a conversation so that students can participate in more than one thought. Okay, so topics that have come up that apparently cause panic among my colleagues are, of course, abortion, climate change, politics, evolution. I don't talk about evolution, but I talk about all those other topics. I teach interpersonal communication, which is about relationships and about dangerous relationships. And of course, the topic of sex education is part of our conversation, not in that way. I mean, we talk about sex and who has it, and to some extent different types of sexual partnerships. Again, not judging at all, but recognizing that there are different dynamics and different dyads and triads in terms of sexual partners. So we talk about that, and we talk about sexually transmitted disease, and one of my favorite sorry, my car's yelling at me. One of my favorite conversations to have with my students, and it, just to get their reaction, is when I ask them if they know who the highest or the most rapidly growing group of people that are HIV positive is, and they always guess drug users, gays, etc., etc. And when I tell them it's senior citizens, they're aghast. So we have that conversation because it has to do with the stereotype that older people don't have sex, and those are the types of conversations that we have in my classes. And I'm not kidding, I've taught for probably 30 years, if you count my GTA teaching. I've never had a complaint against me about the content I'm teaching. Keep in mind, I taught in a private Catholic university. I taught at a private Methodist university. I've taught at the University of Nebraska. I never had a complaint. And so one of my colleagues says, well, when you were at that Catholic university, did you ever discuss abortion? Yeah, I did. But I didn't say abortion is good or abortion is bad, because that's preachy. That's judgmental. That's not my place. So I'm confused. Are my colleagues preaching and being judgmental? I don't want to believe that. But what are they so afraid of? To have tenure or not have tenure just boggles my mind. It's nice. I'm not going to lie. It's nice to have tenure. Who doesn't want to guarantee that you're going to have a job? And believe me, we've all joked about what would it take to lose your job. Well, screwing a student in public would do it. And then someone will laugh, and we have to add to that because that wouldn't be enough. Screwing a student in public on a flagpole, that might be enough to get you fired. But come on, seriously. I don't know. Maybe I am different than everybody else, but there's a certain sense of reason and just common sense that we have to carry into the classroom. You can have an exchange of ideas. You can have a controversial exchange of ideas and not go cross the line into, well, this is going to get me fired because I shouldn't have said, by gosh, you're not going to have sex until you're married, or by gosh, everybody's going to accept homosexuality or you're going to burn in hell. I would never think any of those things. I wouldn't think those things, let alone say them. So are my colleagues that are afraid, what are they thinking? What are they saying? That's enough thinking for now. I'll come back to this later.